Oh, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all genders, welcome back to the most interactive wrestling show on the interweb. Welcome back to Wrestling with Omer. I am your host, Omer Q. I'm going to be going over so much wrestling news with you today. We have a lot to get into as I fixed myself. Let me fix all of this. Let's fix. Oh, God. Now everything's breaking. I just broke everything. Why am I in the corner? Well, while you're waiting for me to figure this shit out, why don't you guys be sure to smash that thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. I see there's people in the chat already. What's up, chat? What's up? Hopefully y'all are doing well. Hopefully everyone's doing good. We're back. I can already see clearly because, you know, it's like less shitty that I'm not in a corner. All right, what's up? So yeah, a lot to get into today. WrestleMania was like canceled for a little bit. That was kind of wild. WrestleMania was canceled. We'll get into that. Also get into final predictions for AEW Double or Nothing. We also got to talk about the Saturday Night's Main Event show, everything else that's happening. But the big story is definitely going to be the WrestleMania change. It is no longer WrestleMania 42, no longer happening in the city of the Bayou or whatever the fuck they call it down there. It's happening now officially in a place that I will tell you about later on in this video. Be sure to smash that thumbs up. First of all, I want to address this. Wall Street Money, why KTR trying to monopolize your live stream? Look, first of all, shout out to the KTR boys. Shout out to Kenny. Shout out to Brian. No one's trying to monopolize anything. They're trying to do their stuff. They're trying to do their thing. Thursday is a very popular time for people to go live, especially for wrestling, considering you don't got Dynamite, you don't got Raw, you don't got SmackDown. So it's a popular time. So let them cook. Let them do their thing. We're all here. It's not my time. It's our time. How about that? Shout out to them. I'll be in their chat later on too. Omer actually starting a stream on time. Ha ha ha. You're really fucking funny, buddy. Really funny. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Where are my socials, by the way? Go follow all this shit. Got sourced by Wrestle Talk. Ace Austin just left TNA. Well, that's kind of wild. Well, Wrestle Talk. You shout out to the Wrestle Talk boys. I ain't going to throw no shade to my Wrestle Talk crew. But yeah, no. WrestleMania, guys, is canceled forever. It's done. It's never coming back. Never coming back. But, you know, Collision moves to tonight. Hey, man, why do you think I'm starting this stream at 7, all right? It's like, hey, Slick. What's up, Joe? Omer, did you believe the initial reports WWE's thinking about having WrestleMania outside of the States? Those were the initial reports that it was the belief that Mania was going to be outside of the States. I'll go through the entire timeline in just a little bit, but that has been proven, or is proving, I should say, to be untrue. They're really doing Vegas for second year in a row. Maybe it's time it'll be better undercard for WrestleMania 42, Triple H and WWE. All right. Since everyone's talking about it, Saudi Mania. Thank God that's not happening. Thank God. Since everyone is talking about it, let's just go through this insane timeline that's played out over the past couple of hours about WrestleMania. All right. So you can see right here, WrestleVotes was one of the original, it was PW Insider was the original person who reported that WrestleMania was no longer going to be taking place. Then WrestleNomics actually came out with a story about this that we'll actually read about WrestleMania not being held in New Orleans anymore. WrestleMania 42, of course, originally slated to be held in New Orleans. That is no longer the case. We're just going to go through the report here by WrestleNomics. Oh, God, I hate ads. Damn it, Euronews and Substack and all this. Why the fuck can I get like a clean version of this? Anyway, all right, where's the best we got? Despite the announcement earlier this year, WrestleMania will not take place, in New Orleans in 2026, according to a statement provided Thursday to WrestleNomics. The statement provided by the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation indicates the event is being rescheduled to a later unspecified year. New Orleans was announced as the 2026 host city for in February during a segment on SmackDown featuring The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, revealing the location. We'll talk about Dwayne and his bad luck with WrestleMania in just a sec, too. After the article was published, NOLA.com reported that Las Vegas was the host site of WrestleMania in 2026 for a second consecutive year. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, which played a key role in bringing 2025 event to the city, didn't immediately respond to our message seeking confirmation. Rather than WrestleMania, WWE's Money in the Bank premium live event will be held in New Orleans in 2026. That news follows the recent announcement of UFC 318, set for July 19th at the Smoothie King Center in the city. The events are part of a broader multi-year agreement being negotiated between local organizers and WWE and UFC's parent company, TKO. All right, let's go through the rest of this and then we'll talk about it more. A specific date for Money in the Bank 2026 wasn't provided, but the annual event usually takes place in June or July. The Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation and New Orleans Company are working closely with our friends at TKO to expand our long-standing partnership. The statement from the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation reads, which will include UFC 318 and the July 19th Money in the Bank 2026 and WrestleMania, which will move from the currently scheduled 2026 timeframe to a future year. All right, so that was WrestleNomics' report on this. We also had some other reports kind of come out. It was also reported in between all of this happening that people in WWE expected it to be an international show. That seemed to just be speculation because it looks like Las Vegas is all but confined as far as hosting WrestleMania next year. We have PW Insider as well coming out with a report. The word making the rounds locally in Las Vegas this afternoon is that they are finalizing WrestleMania 42 to take place in Allegiant Stadium in 2026. The deal is not done, but is believed to be very, very close. The belief locally is Mania 42 will be the weekend of 4/18 and 4/19. That is April 18th and April 19th in 2026. If that is the case, it's a week later than the original New Orleans dates. And if you are asking why that is potentially happening, one of the main reasons why WrestleMania was so late this year on the calendar compared to previous years is because Las Vegas usually on Easter weekend, like that third weekend in April, does not traditionally do as well as they do in other times of the year. People aren't traveling to Vegas. It is not a time for sin. It is a time for the Holy Spirit, as they say. So for them, I think it is to attract that clientele and bring an attraction to the city, bring that economic boom that they evidently saw this year with Mania coming in. Obviously, there's a lot of reaction to this. I can already see some of y'all in the chat going up. WrestleMania 41 almost became the lowest WrestleMania attendance since Mania 42, by the way. That is, what? Almost became the lowest WrestleMania attendance since Mania 22? I don't think that's true. Is it? Is it the lowest? I mean, well, no. I mean, come on. You got Mania. Okay, first of all, COVID Mania, even though we're not going to count that. But the year 2021 was the lowest, right? Because that had like 15, 20,000 people. Yeah, that one had like 15, 20,000 people. And then like Mania, what was it? Mania 30 had like what, 50? Something like that. $100,000 for nosebleed seats. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, not that far off. What's good, Omer? Been a minute. I know WWE are probably moving Mania out of New Orleans because of the jailbreak that happened a few days ago. I don't think that's the reason, but I totally think that I totally think that that's the case. They should do WrestleMania in Vegas again, but the Sphere Arena, ain't no way that's happening. That's so ticket. You want to talk about $100,000 ticket? That's seriously going to be $100,000 tickets right there. What do we got here? Nope, it was 22. WrestleMania 22 was the last WrestleMania that was held in a in what is it called? Like an arena, not in a stadium. But WrestleMania, what was it? 37. It was WrestleMania 37. I'll actually here. Let's actually look it up. WrestleMania by attendance. All right, here. Let's go to good old-fashioned Wikipedia because it never lies. Yeah, I mean, you're right. WrestleMania 40 or WrestleMania 22 was like, again, like it was the last time that they held the event in an arena. So that is true. But I'm pretty sure Mania 37 had lower attendance than this year's Mania. So yeah, Mania 37, 17,000, 18,000 the next night. So even cumulatively. But yeah, there's 60. Yeah, like it was like 60,000. Like, and that's like 60,000 like that they filled. They had 60,000 people. So this isn't even like last year had less attendance than Mania 41, and definitely this one. And Mania 30, yeah, Mania 30 had like about 60,000 as well. So yeah. The Rock pretty much. I mean, we can talk. We'll talk about this later. Don't worry, Michelle. We'll talk about The Rock and looking stupid later because, by God, The Rock did look kind of fucking stupid in this, didn't he? By God. What else we got? Who do you think is the 7-man babyface if Gabe Kidd joins Moxley's side? The 7th man on the babyfaces? Hangman? No, it can't be Hangman. Because he's already in the match. I don't know. Give me Mark. No, it can't be Mark Briscoe either. Damn it. All my faves. What about Eddie Kingston? It can't be Kingston, though. Because he's not ready yet. If it was Eddie Kingston, I'd mock out. The world is cold. Better knuckle up. And never let up. Or it'd be crazy if it was Darby Allin just coming in for a spot and like coffin drops off the top of the arena. Ain't no way though. I don't even think he's back in the States yet. Cope? No, I think Cope is gonna come out at the end of the tag match. Brian would go crazy. Oh man, if it was Brian, I'd be really mad about not being there. I'd be really mad about missing Brian's return. Just like you guys should be really mad if you don't hit that like button. Guys, please smash that thumbs up. If you want to guarantee your question or statement is read out on the air, be sure to leave a super chat. And yeah, this is a fan interactive show, so the best way to have your voice heard is by leaving a chat. Be an active member of the community. Anyway, let's go back to this Mania news because this is interesting. And I promise I'll end like the reporting part of this and like start talking about like the actual stuff and my opinion on some of this as well, because I know like y'all are here for that. I think there's like one more report here about this that I wanted to show. Is it even here? Oh yeah. I mean, there were so many like rumor and innuendo, like little things coming out. It was like WrestleMania receives significant bid from an unspecified location. The host man, I was like unspecified location. So here, okay. I mean, let's talk about this. So originally, when I heard the idea that Mania was gonna be moved, and I heard that this report came up, I immediately thought that the host city would be a place that it is probably already going to host another WrestleMania, a city that potentially already agreed to that. And to my knowledge, you know, the three names that came to mind were Indy, because Indy is guaranteed to host another WrestleMania at some point in the future. Because of that big contract they signed, that's why they got the Rumble, and they're going to have a Mania at some point. So it was Indy. It was Orlando, because Orlando is going to host Mania, I believe, in like 2029, they announced. Or it's been reported, excuse me. Like that bid is being secured right now. And then the third city or the third place was going to be somewhere in Saudi Arabia because it's been kind of implied that as part of that deal for Rumble, they were going to have a WrestleMania at some point. And there will be a Saudi WrestleMania at some point. A lot of people believe that Wembley was in play. And I think that, yeah, very well could have been the case. Very well could have been the case. I did not doubt that. That was a realistic possibility. However, from my view, Wembley is already host, and this is not like a trying to be tribal. This is just like thinking about it logically, right? Wembley is already hosting All In next year. That is slated. It is going to happen. And if you are if you're London, right? And I assume that there were some incentives, whether they be tax breaks or a rights fee or whatever, included with that deal for AEW to come back because they have come back before. They've done the event twice there now. They're coming back for a third time in 2026. It would behoove the City of London not to undercut that event that they've probably already agreed to, whatever incentives, whether it be tax or otherwise, on, right? But at the end of the day, that's not what happened, because at the end of the day, I'm not sure if Wembley and WWE are going to agree to whatever incentives WWE want, because WWE knows that they can get 5, 6, 7, 8, some probably in the ballpark of $10 million from Vegas if they literally took it away from New Orleans. It was definitely a significant offer from Las Vegas. We don't know what it was, but I believe they paid in the ballpark of like $8-9 million for Mania this year. I assume it's at least in that ballpark for next year. And I think if Vegas had their way, they probably would bring WrestleMania to town every single year in that same time slot, in that same weekend. Caden Crawford said, Saudis shouldn't have Mania. They shouldn't move it outside of America if it's not in Canada or United Kingdom. Oh, they should definitely move it outside of America. Bro, come on. Move. WrestleMania should be, if I had my way, WrestleMania would be in a different country every year. It'd be like the fucking World Cup, all right? But then again, like it just ain't. It's just not in the cards. But the reality is that Vegas, I think, fell in love with Mania. They fell in love with everything it brought. They fell in love with the money. They fell in love with the spectacle. They fell in love with how drawn fans were, and especially the publicity that it gave the city. But yeah, no, not in Saudi Arabia, not in any country that's committing war crimes. So no Saudi, no Israel, none of that shit. I mean, if it was no, well, actually, if it was no country committing war crimes, I guess America wouldn't be on that fucking list either. But anyway, regardless, you said, I am not gonna wake up at 10 a.m. for WrestleMania. Hey man, look, okay, look, I'm an old ass man at this point. I love me a good London show. I ain't gonna lie. Like when they're in Europe, like watching Raw at 3 p.m., I was like loving that shit. When they were in Europe, I loved it. Watching the first ever All In at like noon, I was like, this is not brunch and wrestling. This is awesome, man. This is awesome. I'm all in for 10 a.m. Manias. Let's make it happen. Imagine going to Omer and then WrestleMania. That'd be a great like trick to try to get a visa too. Go to Umrah and then go to WrestleMania. That'd be crazy. But yeah, I mean, Saudi's gonna get Mania at some point. It's gonna happen. It is going to be a fundamental part of that deal eventually. Even whether it's not now is TBD. But yeah, no, I mean, Mania. This Mania move is like basically unprecedented. There has never been a time that Mania has, I don't think, outside of the pandemic, right? Because the pandemic, and even then it moved from like Tampa to Orlando because it was the pandemic. But outside of that, I don't believe that there's been a time where WrestleMania has moved outside of its host city after being announced like this. It is an unprecedented move. The only comparable thing that I could even see is like, I remember, what was it, Mania 30, or no, it was Mania 7. WrestleMania 7 in 1991 was originally announced, planned. They filmed vignettes and all that stuff for the Los Angeles Coliseum. That big football stadium holds 60, 70,000 people or something. It was originally supposed to be held in the LA Coliseum. They did not sell tickets to the degree that they needed to make that viable. It was very similar to what happened to AEW in Australia. And then they announced the move to the Anaheim Coliseum, which is like an arena. It's like a 20 to 23,000 seat arena. And that's the only thing that I can compare to this, because this has fundamentally never fucking happened before. The other big thing to note here is this is one of the very few times in history that WrestleMania will be in the same city that it was in the previous year. I think it was WrestleMania 2 or something that this happened. Oh, well, I mean, technically, I guess WrestleMania, it was WrestleMania 2, technically. New York City, Long Island. We're not going to give them that. But it was one of the Trump manias, right? Yeah, so Atlantic City. That's what it was. It was Atlantic City, 88, 89, Mania 4, Mania 5 were both held in the, what is it called? The historic Atlantic City Convention Center Hall, which, does that actually hold 18,000? That's crazy. All right. Well, they fit 18,000 in there somehow. Shout out to the fire marshals for not cooking WWE there. But yeah, this is the first time since then that Mania is being hosted in a different city. In the same city back-to-back years. It hasn't happened. Even before this, the closest we got was WrestleMania 30 in 2014 being held in New Orleans, and then WrestleMania 34 being held in 2018 in New Orleans, and that's only a couple of years. So, yeah, it's been a while since something like this has happened. This is crazy when you think about it. Absolutely crazy. Las Vegas, low-key a curse. Remember WrestleMania 9? I mean, yeah, no. Vegas is up there now. They have had two of the worst WrestleManias in WWE history. They have hosted two of the worst WrestleManias in WWE history both times. So, if I'm WWE, I'm at the end of the day, WWE doesn't care. TKO, WWE, they just want the money. So, if the money's good, that's all they're concerned with. And I assure you that the money for this is going to be fantastic for them. I assure you that WWE is making a pretty penny off of this. And I assure you that things are definitely going in their way. Let me actually see. I'm pretty sure WrestleNomics has reported in the past rights fees for WWE. Let's see. Or site fees, I guess, is the correct term. Yeah, so WWE site fees. Okay, so these are all according to WrestleNomics. Let me see if Mania from this year is here. So you have SummerSlam got $7 million this year. Yeah, so New York paid $7 million for SummerSlam this year. You got Arlington, which paid $5 million in 2022. Vegas this year paid $5 million. Okay, so I'm going to correct myself. Vegas paid $5 million for WrestleMania. But considering New York, New Jersey paid $7 million for SummerSlam, I assume that, I don't even know what I just did here. I assume that this number is going to grow significantly for WWE going into the next year. And you can see some of the other numbers here. The Cardiff shelled out $3 million for that. Backlash Puerto Rico, $1.8 million. Royal San Antonio got a sweet deal on the Rumble for $500,000. Shout out to them. But But you can definitely see that Vegas seems to have paid a significant amount. It would seem, because that rights fee for New Jersey, the New Jersey show in SummerSlam, is insane, and I assume it's somewhere in the ballpark of at least that. And I'm not sure how much New Orleans paid, but it seems like they got outbid, and that is probably the primary reason for the move. So wild, wild, wild. WWE is the same even before TKO. They were just doing sponsored match. They were not the same. TKO, look, I will say this. WWE under Triple H versus WWE under Vince McMahon are two completely different entities. WWE under Triple H makes a whole lot more sense. Bare minimum, you can make sense most of the time of most of the things that happen on the show. It is booked infinitely better. It is significantly more watchable. It is not even close. In my view, if you take the last 3 years of Vince McMahon booking, or actually 4 years of Vince McMahon booking WWE, I think it's night and day way worse than what we are getting with Triple H. Even right now during inarguably, the worst run of his entire booking career. That being said, I do think that right now WWE has kind of fallen to the wayside of the TKO whim, which is money, which is getting as many sponsorship deals, which is making this as profitable as humanly possible, and making it profitable, as humanly possible, to the detriment of the booking, to the detriment of the show, to the detriment of the fans. Yet the fans will continue to show up. So to them, they feel like they don't need to change. And they won't change until fans stop buying tickets. That is literally going to be it. If fans stop buying tickets, if fans stop watching the show, that is going to be what makes them change. It is not, and that's not a call to action even. I'm just telling you how it is. So if Royal Rumble Royal Rumble continues to get 60,000 people showing up, that's just going to be the case. TKO is going to have no reason to change, because at the end of the day, they don't give a shit about reactions. They don't give a shit about booking. They don't give a shit about who's over, who's not, whatever, who's the fan favorite. They don't care at all. They care about what is good for their bottom line. And I even say this. If The Rock didn't have a little bit of vanity, in my view, and the way I see this from the outside looking at it, if The Rock didn't have a little bit of vanity, I think that if TKO had their way, The Rock would have main evented WrestleMania last year against Roman Reigns. I think that moment of Cody taking back that main event from The Rock does not happen unless The Rock says the Final Boss is not going to get booed like this. If you're going to boo the Final Boss, the Final Boss is going to make you boo him and not the other way around. I genuinely think that to me is the only way any of that stuff makes sense. So that's just it, man. I mean, what a wild time. What a wild time. Guys, by the way, be sure to smash that thumbs up if you haven't already. I really appreciate y'all. Be sure to leave your questions in the chat. Fan run show, all that stuff. WWE about to send Seth Rollins to the moon and plant the WWE flag. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Didn't I post that in Discord or something? I think I did. I think I posted that in Discord, and I was like, look, they're literally planting the flag. Insane. On the moon. So at the end of the day, right, this move to Vegas, I think, is just a continuation of what we've seen out of TKO, which is just they will follow wherever the money goes. If it tells them that they need to go to Saudi Arabia, they will go to Saudi Arabia. If it tells them they need to go to Vegas back-to-back years, they will do that. If it tells them that they need to, sell less seats, go to the Sphere or something, or another arena like that for a WrestleMania, they'll do that. At the end of the day, for them, it is about turning a profit, making this profitable, as humanly possible. And I do think eventually at some point, we are going to see them try, assuming this trend continues, assuming that we still get Yes. I'll put it in the chat, but definitely join the Real Take Wrestling Discord. Wall Street Money is 100p, the Nick Aldis of that Discord server. He is in there like night and day, booking that shit. So yeah, definitely get in there. Here, I'll actually post the invite link. So it's free to join. We will be doing call-ins using those. So yeah, definitely join. So if you want to eventually call into the show like we plan to, join the Discord server. And also put your questions in the chat. All right. Shilling is out of the way. Now all of a sudden, Liv Morgan and Mars to plant the flag. Yeah, at this point, pretty much. WWE's biggest downfall be the same as UFC. They stopped paying fighters top dollar, but spiked tickets and pay-per-view prices. Yeah, I mean, well, wrestlers never got paid like top dollar really. Like they only recently started to get paid significantly more than they have because there's now competition that allows that. If that wasn't the case, then wrestlers would be getting severely underpaid even more than they already are. Grade The Rock's impact since joining the board, both business-wise and product-wise. All he has given us has, you know what? This is, I guess, a hot take or whatever, which I don't think it should be. I don't think this is a fucking hot take at all. I think it's just the goddamn truth. But The Rock, the only good thing that The Rock has given us has been the final boss, and only those 4 weeks of the final boss. I'll be so dead at it. It lasted like a month, maybe 5 weeks, whatever it was. That is it. And it was a historic 4 weeks. There were one of the best segments in Raw history was that beatdown by the final boss on Cody Rhodes. But other than that, he hasn't cooked. He's been bad. His return originally was whatever, he rock bottom Jinder. Then he comes back and he's like, oh, look, The Rock is going to take the main event and then the people are going to laugh and they're going to smile and he's going to kiss babies and run for president. That didn't go the way he wanted. That was bad. It looked goofy. Cody looked like a fucking geek. And then you had the epitome of absolute insanity in The Rock coming back the next night, holding his toy belt and being like, look, Cody, I'll show you yours if you show me mine. Weird, but all right. Shout out to The Rock. He's doing it up. Then he comes back in January of 2025 this year and cuts that insane promo where he immediately destroys everything that he worked for in those 4 weeks that we loved. Completely ignored the entire story. The only other point you can even say, and this is less so on The Rock, more so on John Cena, the only other thing that you can even involve him with that was fantastic was that moment. Again, moment at Elimination Chamber. Outside of that, it's been garbage. If I'm being nice, it's a C. If I'm being truthful, it's a D. And if I'm being brutal, it's an F. Because legitimately, only like 20% of that whole run was good. In totality. Only like 20% of the stuff he did, 25, 30, even 40, give him 40%. You'd still get an F for that, wouldn't you? If you're in school and you did 40%, you did 50%, you'd still get an F. We're not going to grade The Rock on that curve? All right, we'll carry him on a curve. Give him a D, 60%. All right, you had to grade him on an even better. Give him a C, 70%. Still ass. Still a lot of ass. Omer, I want your soul. Well, you're not going to get it. My soul belongs to God, and also actually no, God, and the tax man, apparently, because tax is everything. Yeah, man, I don't know. It was just utter insanity, utter insanity happening, man. Like, and the worst part is, like, we're so cooked because you know damn well they're not gonna change nothing. It's just bad, man. That's just bad. Well, all right. I see the KTR boys are live right now, so I'm not gonna eat into their time. Looks like they went live a little early this week. But yeah, I'll let them. I'll let them carry this home. Shout out to them, I guess. We will just. I mainly want to do this show because I wasn't gonna do one on Sunday. So, guys, appreciate all of you. Be sure to smash that thumbs up. This was just me talking about WrestleMania moving. Go join the KTR stream. They're going to be talking some graps over there. I might try to pop in for a little bit there. So go join that. Click that link. Go like their video too, man. Go get their channel going. Shout out to them. And until next time, see ya.